You're watching GMT on BBC World News. Coming up, I'll be talking live to the President of Sierra Leone about how his country is recovering after the Ebola epidemic and also his plans to tackle sexual violence. Hello, welcome to GMT. I'm Lucy Hockings. The President of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, is in the middle of his first visit as President to Washington. He is pushing for greater representation of African nations in international affairs. He hopes to strengthen investment, policy and development ties with the US. In a moment, I'll be talking to him, but first, Amara Fofana has more on the current state of the West African nation, which is trying to move on from the Ebola crisis of 5 years ago and systematic corruption which has plagued the country.
A midnight swearing-in ceremony in a Freetown hotel of the new president almost exactly 1 year ago. Julius Maada Bio's election sparked off huge celebrations deep into the night. An uncommon occurrence in Africa where an incumbent party is defeated. But it wouldn't be long before the day-to-day life returned to normal. The fight here for daily survival continued. Bio inherited an economy that was in dire straits. Fixing it has proved very stubborn. He clearly has his work cut out for him. Despite its natural wealth, Sierra Leone is beset with corruption. Its healthcare system, challenged even in the best of times, was decimated by the worst Ebola outbreak in history some 5 years ago. That left nearly 4,000 people killed in just 18 months. A devastating mudslide in 2017 killed more than 1,000 people in a matter of minutes. That disaster exposed the country's broken emergency services that still struggle. All this as the country battled to recover from a bloody civil war in the 1990s that killed thousands and turned children into butchers. That generation of children was regarded as a lost generation. How President Bio addresses these numerous challenges in the next 4 years is a daunting task. He believes fixing education is a first giant step to achieving that, and has therefore rolled out free education from pre-primary to high school. Amara Fofana, BBC News, Freetown.
So many challenges facing the country. Let's talk about how the President plans to tackle them. President Julius Maada Bio joins me now from our studio in Washington. Good to have you with us here on GMT, President Bio. Sadly, when people think of your country, they sometimes think of some of the things we've just seen, of the civil war, of blood diamonds, of Ebola, of poverty. How do you intend to change that narrative?
Definitely. It is true that when you talk about Sierra Leone, all that comes to mind is the war, the Ebola, and all the other calamities. Sorry. But what we are trying to do today is to change that narrative. We are determined as a government, and under my leadership, I believe that in order to lay a solid foundation for development, sustainable development, we have to have develop the human capital of Sierra Leone. That has been lacking in the past. We've depended so much on the mineral resources of our country. We are not paying attention to the human capital. So when we invested in infrastructure in the past, it was not actually calculated at developing or helping the development process itself or the human capital. It was all calculated at it was just cosmetic development meant to win more votes and put something in the eyes of the people so that different governments can be voted for again.
President Bio, when you talk about these scars from the Civil War, one of them is surely sexual violence against women, and you have declared a national emergency because of the rate of sexual violence against women. How will this change things?
Well, I did declare, and this was meant to bring the attention, to attract the attention of everybody to a very serious situation in our country, and to be able also to garner the resources to tackle this challenge. It gives us time to be able to take the necessary steps to tackle sexual violence. In 2012, the Sexual Offences Act was passed, but nothing has been done to actually implement that. In fact, it is a very weak act, and that allows people to go scot-free. Now, as I speak to you, that is under review. During this emergency, we are going to bring in a new act, and we are going to be able to get resources to establish and cascade the various stages or institutions that are necessary for us to be able to sensitize every sector of our society, because one thing that is lacking is that there are no penalties, no steep penalties for sexual offenses. And it's gone to the point when little babies are now the victims and the perpetrators are becoming younger. So it is so serious that I had to declare that state of emergency. But, I mean, suffice it to say that it was actually meant to draw the attention not only of Sierra Leoneans, but of the world to a situation that we know we do not have all the resources to tackle. And I'm looking for partners around the world and in Sierra Leone to be able to tackle that menace so that we can change this image, shed that image, which is much more associated with the past and the calamities we've suffered.
And corruption, how are you planning on tackling that?
Corruption is a fight that we must fight, and it is a fight that we must win. I have established a commissions of inquiry, which is taking place at the moment. And also we have the Anti-Corruption Commission, which has been doing a very good job by bringing to book those who have taken government money. And the commissions are going on as I speak to you. And people have to give stewardship for, account for their stewardship of the state. And what I intend to do is, one, engage in the preventive methods of preventing corruption. That is one. So the commissions actually are a good deterrent for myself sitting here and for every minister and official, government official in Sierra Leone, that you may be called to account for your stewardship at one point in time. Some have thought or termed it as a witch hunt, but it is not a witch hunt. We can't allow corruption to be fashionable. We can't allow corruption to go on the way it's been going on. We can't allow to be characterized as a corrupt, one of the worst corrupt nations in the world. That is an image that I'm determined to shed off as we try to create a new narrative for the new Sierra Leone that we want.
Many challenges ahead. Good luck. Thank you very much for joining us. President Mada Bio joining us there from Washington.
Thank you very much.